Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
The Alabama men's basketball team and their dream is dead. Yes, their dream for the national championship died in Phoenix. What an arena, though. Good Lord. They played in a football stadium with a little basketball court. It was amazing. Amazing stuff. Good game. Enjoyable to watch. Didn't turn out the way people wanted. But yeah, head coach Nate Oates says this is not the end. Quote, we have to use this game as motivation going into the next year. That's exactly right. He's I guess he's one of the top 5 highest paid college basketball coaches right now, which means people were coming for him. Maybe they made a good deal by getting him signed up. The UConn Huskies, too much for them. They secured their chance at back-to-back men's basketball championships, 86-72. That was the final score. And just like that, college basketball evaporated from interest inside the state of Alabama and pretty much anywhere in the South.
Number 6.
Speaking of the University of Alabama, the University of Alabama College of Education has initiated something called Teach in Bama. It's a program aimed at cultivating future teachers and keeping them inside the state of Alabama after they get their degrees, which is something you want to do. You want to have some homegrown talent, people that love the state they live in, and they take care and concern and all these other things. This is a scholarship program which will help these kids, and it will take these kids and put them into classrooms that need teachers, like Greene County would be one that signed up. Tuscaloosa City Schools have signed up as well. These are the first 2 school districts that have signed on to this program. More are expected. If you go, you sign up for this, you stay in Alabama, you get scholarships, you get career resources, things like that, and it doesn't end after you graduate. Just a good opportunity if you want to be a teacher. This may be a good way to go about it and get your education paid for a little bit. Good deal.
Number 5.
A back and forth between a member of the Alabama Ethics Commission, who I know very well, Stan McDonald, we've talked about on this program about this, and the guy trying to remake the rules has taken to the airways and is getting very, very ugly. So ugly that I'm almost mildly interested in ethics reform in the state of Alabama. State Representative Matt Simpson, a Republican of Daphne, is suggesting that ethics board member Stan McDonald violated ethics rules by contributing to campaigns. Here's the funny thing about it. That's a felony, and Stan McDonald admits to it. You're going to jail, Stan. Lock him up. McDonald's case now awaits a decision from the Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall regarding prosecution, and the Alabama State Senate still needs to pass Simpson's reforms for them to become law. My guess is tick, tick, tick. That's going to be the sound of the clock in the legislature, and them going, just time ran out, guys. Couldn't do it.
Number 4.
State Senator Arthur Orr. You know him because he's on this program often. He is a Republican from Decatur. He has made it very clear that he wants he wants union workers or wannabe union workers to have their day to vote. Go right ahead, vote and organize if you want. But a secret ballot should be used. And this is why he has proposed a piece of legislation that says it's not just enough to have people sign on and then have the company say, okay, fine, we're going to recognize your union. His argument is there's coercion coming from the labor side, and they're coercing people to sign these things. They want to have a secret ballot, and if they do it if they recognize the union without a secret ballot, then they could potentially lose all of their economic incentives. So that's a law that Senator Orr is trying to get passed. I think that's probably going to happen. That law is probably going to become law. Or that bill will become law. There we go.
Number 3.
The Alabama State House wants to make it clear that squatters don't have a claim to anyone's home in Alabama, which, by the way, they don't. In Alabama, as of right now, it's 20 years. You'd have to squat on a piece of property and land for 20 years before you could claim it. That's how the law is now. But the Alabama State House has passed a bill unanimously, HB 182. It's a bipartisan piece of legislation sponsored by State Representative Craig Lipscomb out of Gadsden. He's a Republican. It increases the penalty for those entering residences unlawfully and for individuals presenting falsified ownership documents to enshrine property rights. Currently, Alabama law requires someone to occupy, as I said before, a property continuously for 20 years to claim squatter rights through adverse possession. But Lipscomb emphasized the importance of protecting property rights, citing problems in other states. It looks like just a clarification of where we currently stand.
Number 2.
Much to the chagrin of the media and their Democrats who lauded President Joe Biden's previous record fundraising haul when he had like Lizzo and all the people that helped Lizzo walk around, all those people there, and they all raised a bunch of money and all these other things. Had all these celebrities, including sexual harassers and sexual assaulters like Bill Clinton and stuff like this. Anyway, they raised a record number. Well, Donald Trump did the same thing, and now the media has turned and said, well, we raised all this money. There's a real problem with all this money in politics. It's like, guys, 2 weeks ago you were saying the exact opposite. You were touting how awesome it was that Joe Biden raised $26 million. Anyway, now they're attacking Donald Trump because he said to donors he's going to keep their taxes low, which is not a position that has changed for Donald Trump ever. I think even when Donald Trump was a liberal Democrat, he was still like, yeah, taxes are bad. We shouldn't have, I should pay less taxes. I'm not sure why we're mad about this, but okay, there we go.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
There is not a single piece of degenerate filth and smut and porn and all sorts of just disgusting nonsense that a librarian could give your kid that there are people in this state that would defend. It would not defend. It is insane. You are watching as politicians and political types on the left, for some reason, insist that your child have access to all sorts of smut and pornography. And there's a new bill out, and I want you to listen to the argument made by John Archibald, a guy who got a Pulitzer Prize by existing in Alabama. That's what he did. His first Pulitzer Prize came from the Washington Post because he it came because he rewrote a Washington Post editorial and put y'all in it, essentially. And he got a Pulitzer Prize for that. But this new bill goes after libraries and librarians who offer up filth to children. It takes away this protection that says librarians can give your children filth, if they want to because of the position they're in. And it says, no, you can't do that. And John Archibald, of course, is mad about this. And look at how weak his argument is. He is arguing that the bill itself is filth. That if this bill was in the library under this bill, it wouldn't be allowed to be read by kids, which I think is hilarious. This is the equivalent of someone standing up at a city council meeting and reading a book that they don't want banned and saying, or not banned, but removed from the library. And everyone will be like, hey, you can't read that in here. And that's basically what he's doing. He's laying out the argument that this stuff shouldn't be in libraries because he doesn't want to print in his paper. And he thinks he's being clever here, but he's not. It's the exact opposite, actually. John Archibald is the out-of-touch thought leader at AL.com and probably on the left in this state. He finds himself without any real argument to make here. So he laments that there will be no drag shows in libraries if this bill passes. He argues that the Bible violates, listen to this, quote, violates a lot of standards laid out in this bill. That's a quote. Even though the bill itself makes exceptions for historical literature and stuff like that, but sure, whatever. And he farcically calls the bill a, quote, a serious attack on thought and expression if it did not seek to criminalize an important service-oriented profession. That profession, librarian. Yeah, I always remember that people are constantly saying how important it is librarians exist. And it's just, it's always been one of America's most beloved professions. No? That's just now. Now we're doing that. We're pretending it's like the most beloved thing in the world. It's not an attack on librarians. It says, hey, if you give filth to children, you'll be held responsible. I don't know why anyone would be mad about that, but John Archibald wants you to know that if you're a librarian and you want to give filth to children, he's got your back. That's the argument. So congratulations to you guys. So smut it away, people. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know how they've got to this place in our society, but they're here and they're doing it. And anyone that defends this, I don't understand what your argument is. And I read John Archibald's column twice, and I still have no idea what the point he was trying to make was, other than these are the things that they're trying to keep from your children. And I thought, Okay, that's fine. I'm with that. But okay. John Archibald has a hard time understanding it, so I have a hard time understanding what John Archibald's doing. But he apparently is a thought leader in the state, and we're supposed to be very impressed by his Pulitzer Prizes. Okay? Congratulations, everyone. We're all stupider for having heard that. All right, we will now move forward. If you got any thoughts on this and you want to be a thought leader, see how simple that is? You can pick up the phone right now, 866-494-WVNN. That is, of course, the QC Connects free speech phone lines. You can also jump in here and text in your thoughts or your questions during 10 with him at 925-494-WVNN. That, of course, is the scoutpestcontrol.com WVNN hot take text line. You can email me too, Dale at WVNN.com. But we got more Clips talk at around 8:30 this morning. We will, of course, be joined by Emily, who's here right now. I don't know why we'll say we're joined by her, but she'll be here to give us her review of night one of WrestleMania. Yes, that's right. We'll get her thoughts on that as someone who never watches and is like, what the hell is this? That's what we will do. We'll talk about that here a little bit later today as well. So keep it locked right here on WVNN.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.